Welcome back. We are back with another episode of What Do the Men Think? Today we're doing things a little different. I would like to read an article regarding CNN host Van Jones, who have welcomed a baby girl with a longtime friend, and they are being conscious co-parents. I picked this article because I wanted to speak to my men, and somehow, some way, I always end up speaking to women most of the time, because if I can be honest, if I can be blunt, I truly believe most of relationship problems are happening now in modern times because of the choices of women. I believe women are in control of more than they want to accept, and women control more than they know. And they have chosen to do certain things that has led down the path to what I believe has created the conscious co-parents. So let's go ahead and start reading this article before I just get to running my mouth. Let's go ahead down here. Van Jones is a father of three. The CNN political commentator announced on Saturday that he and longtime friend welcomed a daughter together earlier this month. Now, this will get a little more interesting after we read it. After COVID lockdown, I got clear that I wanted another kid. I discovered that my friend Naomi, we'll call her Naomi, also wanted a baby. Jones told Today parents in a statement. So we decided to join forces and become conscious co-parents. It's a concept that I hope that more people will explore and consider. Let me finish reading it first. Jones, 53-year-old man, said that he and Naomi will raise their little girl as co-parenting partners. Jones is not revealing her last name. This is a special time for our families. He added, I feel grateful, joyful, and blessed as we create a safe and loving environment for this blessed young soul. I respectfully ask for your privacy. This is what Nick Cannon has also started doing with his lifestyle. He has chosen to find women and decide, hey, you want a baby? I want another baby. Let's go ahead and be parents. The first thing that went through my mind when I read this was, we are completely making marriage obsolete. This is going to destroy. What reason do men have to marry women if we're all going to be conscious co-parents? I started reviewing this video or even looking for a topic. I was looking for a topic based on trying to change men's minds about relationships and marriage, and it ended up this fell into my lap because it fell into that category. I don't understand how you get men to still want to commit and marry, and we're giving away the thing that women value most. We're giving away your most precious gift and then saying, oh please take me, oh please commit to me. Who's going to sign up for women after this? It's a terrible decision to become a stepfather today. It is an even worse decision to marry in to a conscious co-parenting system. This makes no sense. Because as conscious co-parents, I believe he goes into it. Let me see if he's going to speak about it. He split with his ex-wife. Jones broke down in tears. Blah, blah, blah. Then they start speaking about how other parents are doing. So as conscious co-parents, go back up to here. Conscious co-parenting mean, we're going to make both make decisions on how we want our baby to be raised. We both will have influence on what happens to our baby. If you are a man and you want to get with Naomi, who has to co-parent with him. She's already agreed to it. We got it on paper. We got it. We went through the system. Everything is locked down, split down the middle. How we're going to do this. If a man comes into this and he wants to implement how he wants to run his household with his now stepdaughter, he cannot fully do that. He also has to check in with Jones about how he wants to run his now household with his wife and his stepdaughter. This is why I say step parenting is terrible in itself, because you can't run a household the way you fully want to run a household. I don't understand how women expect men to be leaders and lead a household, but then we want you to also accept the fact that there's another guy, another man who's running the household, and we want you to work together with how he's running his side, and then we want your side to click into this. This is a terrible idea for women. This is terrible. For women that still value marriage and still want marriage, this is single-handedly destroying marriages. I don't understand how you expect men to get, regardless of how we're getting it. We won't even say vagina. We'll say we're doing it the scientific way, because we're going to get into another video that's going to get into this. Let's just say we're doing it the scientific way. Let's just say there's no intercourse, there's no relationship. We're just sperm, egg, make baby. I don't understand how you want to go out, make a decision to become a parent, and then expect men to say, you know what? I can get sex how I want it. I can have babies how I want to, but I still want to just marry a woman just for the hell of it. For any females that's watching this, any female, if you ever choose to watch my videos, please, for the love of God, if you value marriage, research what marriage means to men and what marriage means to women. They are not the same. They do not mesh together. Most of the things that women want from marriage is not the same things that men want from marriage. This matters because when you decide to go out and have a kid by another man, you're giving a grave impact on what a man would marry you for. You are destroying your hopes at getting married. I just had a conversation with a woman about kind of similar this topic. We had a long conversation about relationships and marriage, as she's a single mom of 2 and still wants to get married. And I said, ma'am, I'm never gonna say all hope is lost, but when you mix the standards of most modern women, he has to come with his own house, own car. He has to be of a certain age and a certain maturity level. And he now has to accept the fact that I have 2 kids by 2 men, take all of us under his wing, and take care of all of us and still be a leader, still be the man. And he gets, I'm nice, I'm understanding. You know, once he takes me up under his wing, then I'll become a wife. I can cook, I can clean. Once he takes me up under his wing, I can do these things. And I'm like, ma'am. But she doesn't understand. She thinks that I'm just being a hater. And this is going to actually lead us into our next video. Let me make sure I'm reading everything first. So this is not something new. They were talking about Anderson Cooper, who also is doing the co-parenting thing with his ex-boyfriend. They decided to have another child and do the conscious co-parenting thing. Exes. These 2 men couldn't get along for a relationship, but because they both believe that you're a good parent, I'm a good parent, let's still have more kids. This is terrible for relationships. And there's a video here. How long is it? 6 minutes? I'm not gonna watch this video. I haven't watched it before, so I'm not gonna. Fuck it. Let's play it. Let's see what's happening first. Let's see if it's even worth listening to.
Today I'm trying out the Everlywell food
We got a
sensitivity test.
commercial. I'm not gonna waste time then. Let's go ahead and get over to our creme de la creme video. Conscious co-parents. And of course, this video is brought to you by the host at The View. I always have to get, to the best of my abilities, a female opinion on my topics. I love hearing what women think, and that's more than likely why I choose to break down the videos. For anybody who's ever wondered why did he choose this video, I'm not gonna try to be an echo chamber on this channel. I like to get a topic, I like to get a different point of view, and I like to give you my point of view on the topic and the other point of view. So, without further ado, I need to move myself over a little bit. I'm going to shrink me down just a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and start playing this video.
Journalist Van Jones welcomed his new baby girl with friend Noemi. Van stated, after the COVID lockdown, I got clear that I wanted another kid. I discovered that my friend Noemi also wanted a baby, so we decided to join forces and become conscious co-parents. It's a concept that I hope more people will explore and consider. Now, while many people understood the concept, others are giving a bit of a side eye and have many questions. So, ladies, what are your thoughts on this?
I have so many questions. I actually do love the concept of this. Funny enough, Ray and I used to joke that if we got to a certain age, both of us have the desire to have a family, that we would co-parent and like have a child together.
I think it's funny already. Just the fact that she said she looked like she's all for this, and I find it interesting because she's one of the ones on here that has the modern feminist point of views, and of course she would love this. And this is one of the problems, because we have women such as Noemi, like she said, we'll call her Noemi. We have women who believe, you know what? I've tried this way. At this point, I just wanna have a baby by any means necessary, and I'm willing to just risk anything else that comes with it to bring a life into this world. And instead of doing the work, instead of building the relationship, instead of making sure we are creating families, meaning a father, a mother, and a child all in the same household, we are more concerned with making children. And she finds that interesting. But let's go ahead and keep playing it.
I think the difference is that we would do it scientifically, medically, and there would be no sexual relationship. I'm so curious, what was the plan here? Like, was there sex involved, or was this just done because these are two friends who want...
sex.
Okay.
She puts more value into how the baby came about versus anything else. She even said it. She said if she decided to go this route, she would rather go the scientific route versus going the romantic route, because she believes that will make it somehow different. No, ma'am. I don't care. Most men, we're talking about what the men think. Men don't care how you decided to have this baby. We have to look at the fact that you want us to be stepfathers, men. We need to start saying these things to women. Being a stepfather is not a small thing. Being a stepfather is not something that we can just blow past. It is a huge task. It is a huge ask. This is something that needs to be addressed, because they think stepfathers are just, you can go grab a stepfather off the stepfather tree. No one wants to sign up for this job. I have researched videos because I wanted to touch this topic, and I could not find any good videos on being a stepfather today. There are no men praising being a stepfather, especially the ones that have already done it. I have done it, and there is literally nothing good that comes from taking care of another man's kid or taking care of kids that you have absolutely no legal guardianship over. None. None for men. And women, you need to understand this. There is no benefit for a man to come and take care of this. And more men are seeing these videos. More men are understanding these topics. And more men are saying, no. Why would I do that to myself?
But I think that makes a difference. I think if you have
make a difference.
If you have
I don't
a
know.
sexual
I don't
or
think we'll ever know
romantic
that.
relationship,
Yeah.
and that's where a child came from, versus prior to anything saying this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
You get that does make a difference.
Yeah.
To me.
Well,
What do you think?
know what? I think I was hoping I was going to get a shot at Van Jones myself.
Oh, you trying to have some babies?
You will get a shot.
No, but I don't want to raise anybody. I don't want to raise any babies.
What Noemi is gonna raise with him, so you can still be the girlfriend.
I like the concept of
That's
it.
hilarious. I do. I think.
This is terrible. Now let's go ahead and keep that playing.
I think it's beautiful. I think it's a beautiful concept that here he wanted another child, she wants a child. They come together and they raise it. And listen, Van Jones has a very full life, right? In a way, I always say this, one of the best things about divorce is that you sort of get a break. And not, you get a break and you make lemonade
lot of
out
this
of
is
lemons. That's what
unnecessary
I was
talk.
able to
I
do.
didn't
When
feel
I
like
don't have
skipping
my
through
kids,
it.
I was able to become an author and do so many things because I don't have my kids full time. I think with Van, the fact that he has such a big life, this gives him a chance to have another kid, but yet not be there day to day.
Okay, and there are other couples that's doing this.
Well, what's-
Anderson Cooper and
Yes.
his
As I spoke
ex-partner
about in the,
are doing it.
article.
Megan Fox and Brian Austin Green.
I didn't know
Naomi
about
Watts
them.
and Liv.
Well, I don't think those people went into it
But
as
and that's
co-parents.
my point.
That's what I'm curious.
So a lot of people are, just to clarify what she's speaking on when she said a lot of people are doing this now, a lot of people who just have kids together are calling themselves conscious co-parents, even though I wouldn't relate them to the same thing. I would like this specific kind of situation to be considered the conscious co-parenting, where we were never in a relationship and decided to have kids, like such as the Nick Cannon situation. I would prefer to just keep it strictly with that. But a lot of people are just saying, you know what, we're going to call ourselves this now as well.
Oh, is that your point?
I think.
Because I have a very high-profile girlfriend who I'm not going to name, but she, for a long time,
If I
thought she
guess, will
wasn't
you
going.
tell me?
No, that she was going to. If she couldn't find the right guy, that she was going to do this with a friend of ours.
But would they have
I've
had
heard
sex
of
to
people
create the
agreeing to
child?
this.
No, because he's gay.
Who it is?
Same here. Okay, so do you get where I'm
Yeah,
coming from?
yeah.
I'm so curious if this was a romantic relationship that then went to, we'd both like to have a kid.
Yeah.
Which
They
is
had
what
the
Twitter was
kid.
saying.
I don't get the
He
feeling
knocked up
that.
his friend, and now he trying to talk about.
No,
that's
I
what
wanna-
Twitter was saying. I didn't say it. Twitter said it. Especially Black Twitter. They saying it because this is unusual. I have a problem with this.
What's your
I'm like,
problem?
About time.
Because is this the new way we're gonna do relationships
It
now?
might be.
About
That's why I
time.
made that
It
face
might
about
be.
he doesn't have to be there every day.
Right.
That obviously
is
changes
terrible.
the nucleus of a family.
Yes.
And I think that while you absolutely have the right, like in my case, Ray probably would not have lived with me. I probably just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know how, we didn't work it out that far.
They bypassed Lonnie, and this was the first time I've ever heard her say something that I completely agree with. I don't understand how women are okay with this concept, but like I said earlier, I don't think women understand the power that they have, and I don't think women understand the mistakes that they make, because most women don't understand men. And that is one of the reasons that I make these videos here, because y'all don't understand how stupid this is for I can't even say as a man. It's tough for me to talk about how problematic this concept is, because this literally benefits men in every way possible. You have women volunteering their wombs to have men's babies because they want babies, and men don't have to get relationships. They don't even have to have relations. They can get their men, they can get their kids, they can procreate, they can have their seeds, they can agree that we're gonna split everything down the middle before we get child support and all that involved. We can make agreements on this before the child's even born and have our children. Some can even do this the old-fashioned way and have sex to procreate and have to give up nothing. Where the times of old, you had to marry a woman to have a child, which is why marriages were a thing, because men had to make a commitment to have children. Now we have women saying, you know what? Scratch that. We'll do it for free. How does this affect women? I'm glad you asked. Because just like I told you about the lady earlier who was saying she got 2 kids and by 2 fathers and she now wants marriage, you can't expect a man to come and commit to you because of things like this. We have no reason to commit. We have no reason to marry at all. Besides the fact that if you are married to a woman, when you die, your belongings can get passed on to your wife. That is literally the only thing keeping me in my head saying, okay, I want to marry, because when I do leave this earth, I don't want to leave my woman without. I don't want to go and build all these things, have all these houses, and then leave my woman stranded out here, having to go jump back on the carousel or find another man to take care of her. I would like to keep my belongings into my family. That is literally the only reason I see marriage as a possible thing nowadays. There's nothing else that benefits it for men, and a lot of women don't understand this concept. They just think men just benefit from marriage as much as they benefit from marriage, and that is completely untrue.
We didn't get that far along to those conversations, but I think that can be complicated in certain ways. I don't want somebody to have a kid with somebody, in my opinion. I wouldn't want someone to have a kid with me so that they wouldn't have to be there all the time, so that they can go and further their career. You know what I mean?
No, but I'm saying it's not intentionally that way, but it definitely works out, because who's going to have the baby? But what's tricky for me...
See, I might need to rewind this. Because now what we're getting into is the part where we have to discuss as grown adults. Okay, how are we going to do this again? So if we're co-parenting and we're skipping past the relationship, we're skipping past as a man I have these duties, as a woman you have these duties, and we come together to make all of that work. Meaning we can't have 2 breadwinners because we're going to be lacking on the household front. We're going to need a breadwinner, and we're going to need a household, and we're going to have to make these things work to form a relationship. Someone has to be here with the child, giving them the important things that we need, that the child needs to grow. And someone has to be out here facing the world, fighting the battles, and bringing in the money so that we can financially support this household. And then we bring all this together and raise a child. See, we're skipping that and saying, you know what, let's just have a child and we'll just figure all that out later on, even though some of these people that may do this conscious co-parenting may both be the financial people. Now, who's in the household with the kid? We don't even have a household together. So we're automatically starting that child off at a disadvantage. This is crazy. And the fact that women are condoning this is even crazier. Let's give up the little bit of power that we have left over men in order for them to get married. Let's give that up and say, here's the child, but still marry me even though I've had another man's child. Wow. Let me rewind this though, because I want to hear what they said again.
With me, so that they wouldn't have to be there all the time, so that they can go and further their career. You know what I mean?
No, but I'm saying it's not intentionally that way, but it definitely works out because
How?
who's going to have the baby? But what's tricky
I
for
want
me
him there.
is
You
if
just skipped
somebody
that.
moves on and gets a partner, does that partner agree with this?
I think it depends on
Conscious
if it was done
co-parenting.
sexually.
I really respect the fact that Lonnie is sitting over there after she says she disagrees with this, and they've completely pushed her out of the conversation, and they're talking to each other about this because they both agree. And when I listen to the disagree, I really respect the fact that she's sitting over there just waiting to tell them how stupid they sound. For once, someone is saying, bruh, this is dumb. And then you're asking, okay, well, what happens when one of the people say, you know what, okay, I'm ready to incorporate someone else into this? And then what happens if both parties want to now incorporate someone else into this? Now we have 4 people, just as it's similar to, you know, a baby mama, baby dad have to incorporate other people. It always gets messy. This is gonna create more messiness. Because at least with the baby mama, baby dad situation, at least some of the times we still had people who were married in their relationships and kind of had an idea on how we wanted to do this. Now you're just going to have random people saying, okay, let's go ahead and make this work. And we have no idea how, well, I'm not going to say no idea because they were friends. They believe that they know each other well enough to say we can co-parent. I believe relationships have to be formed in a different regard in order to raise a child. But that's me. I believe this can work. I actually don't have an issue with it. I'm just trying to give you another side, and I believe that this will destroy marriages, which is also a benefit to men because we are already on the verge of not marrying. This is furthering that. We don't have a reason to get married if we're going to be doing this.
Or if it was done scientifically.
Yeah.
Because then it would be like, well, at
may
some
never
point,
know.
She
what
keeps
I'm- do you
saying
okay,
this.
for
Come
instance,
on, Garcelle, really?
for instance,
She
if
keep
you
trying to
and
say that
I-
it
and you wanted to
depends
now,
on how
now
you
if he
did
meets
it.
a new woman and she actually wants to have a romantic, or let's say he wants.
No one gives a shit on whether a penis was inserted to have a child or a turkey baster was inserted to have a child. We don't care how it happened. The end result, the outcomes is what matter. The child is what matters. I used to still date people who had kids. That's not the issue on the fact that she had a kid the regular old-fashioned way. Problem comes is thinking about how I'm going to raise another man's child with him incorporating his rules, his standards, his goals, the way he wants to have his household run into that child. And then I have to be on the back burner making sure my new ways don't conflict with his ways, but my new ways are also incorporated in my household, but that the child respects them enough that they don't drift away, but they still kind of do it, but they do it. Like, how does that work? For example, if you want to know what I'm speaking about, let's just say I want my household to go vegan. And the child's father is just a regular guy, eats meat, eats everything. And when he goes with the child, when he goes with his father, he's over there eating meat. And then he has to come home and see us eating salads and tofu. This is going to conflict. This is going to be a problem. Let's just say I don't eat pork. And when the child goes with his father, he's eating pork. And then he comes home when we're just eating chicken and fish. And the child has a problem with the fact that he can't have pork chops or bacon. The child has a problem with that because he eats it over there, but he's not eating it here. It is a problem.
Wants to get remarried to this person, but he's now co-parenting with this other woman. You think it was sexual?
Stop giving me looks, Lonnie Love. Stop
Jesus,
giving me
But she knows.
An excuse to not commit.
Woo! Talk your shit. Say that. You are giving men, I'm not going to say an excuse, you're giving them a reason not to commit. You are giving men the ultimate bailout on marriage. A woman said this. I've already been saying this, but I'm so thankful that there are still few women who understand how men think. If you start giving men babies without commitment, men will have no reason to commit. This is why our dating market is already in the toilet, because women want sexual freedom, which is fine. But you have to understand, why would I commit to you if I have 5 women who all want to have my children? They all have had my children. And they've agreed to take care of my child outside of my house. Why would I then go back and say, you know what? I'm going to pick one of those to marry when I can go marry a single woman with no kids while they're taking care of my kids? I just want to give y'all an example of how jacked up this can be for women, because there are men who will think like that. There are men who will say, I'm going to go impregnate Susie, Mary, and Sherry. I'm going to go impregnate them two, but then I'm going to go get with Sharon and marry her because she has no kids and no babies, and we're just going to live a single lifestyle while they're over there taking care of my children. And I'm going to be over here taking trips with Sharon while they're stuck with the kids. There are men that will do this and will have no problem with it. I got to rewind this. Let me move me over here just a little bit. I got to rewind this. This is crazy. What minute mark are we on? 4:51. Let's go a little bit behind and let's play that.
Stop giving me
men an excuse to not commit.
Woo!
I'm sorry. When you add this type of relationship and everything, wait until you get apart. Can you imagine? Just having,
they don't understand.
A lot of single mothers.
They don't get it.
I get it.
Choice mothers, this is complete, which in this case,
is...
this kind of is a version of being a choice mother.
What if she wants a baby and she didn't have a relationship and he suggested let's have it together and she's like...
And it's sexual?
They're trying to use the Van Jones situation and saying, okay, she's past marriage and he says it, and they're trying to use that as a way to defend what's going on here.
No, maybe they went to the doctor's office.
Was there an IUI?
You know what?
An IUI.
We need Van Jones come on here so I can ask some questions.
Please.
They're making this more about how it happened. And this is what females do. They're making it more about whether you're having sex or whether we're using the turkey baster. And that does not matter. This is terrible. What? How would that... See, Lonnie was there when she said that you're giving men excuse. She said you're giving men an excuse not to commit. If you're giving men a reason not to commit by saying you can have my child, that will not change based on whether we're having sex or whether we're doing it with a turkey baster. That will not change. You're still going to give us a reason not to commit because in this new modern society, and let me correct myself because views have to change. We have to change because times are evolving, we are evolving. So things that I have said maybe a year ago probably will change now because times are changing. Things are evolving, we are evolving. So where I might have said, you know what, I don't know. Where I might have said something last year, I might not be saying this year. I'm more open to some of the newer wave things than I used to be. I would have said this was dumb to co-parent with a random stranger in the past. I now see this as something that could work out. Not to the betterment of family, not to the betterment of marriage, but I do believe that it's something that can work as far as I don't have a baby, she don't have a baby, let's go ahead and make one and let's just make it work. Because I'm more on the side now that I'm older, I'm more on the side of, okay, this didn't work, this didn't work, this didn't work. What can we try that does work? And let's just try something. I'm more on the lines of let's just try something versus not doing anything now. So I am open to seeing how this could play out. But I do understand by doing this that you are also destroying marriages and you are also destroying the traditional family, because this doesn't make sense for people that still value marriage and want to get married. This will destroy that. I have no reason to marry.
Okay, because what I was going to say was, let's keep it real. Sometimes romantic relationships can go sour.
Yeah.
And then that makes it really difficult to co-parent with a child because you have all of this resentment and these feelings.
Yes.
You ever seen the movie, There's a Thin Line Between Love and Hate, Lynn
Yes.
Whitfield. So
That is a fair argument. That is a fair point. That this skips around the bitter baby mama drama. This will skip around the scorned lovers. That is a great point, that we won't have to worry about, well, I used to love him. He doesn't want me anymore. Now I have to deal with the fact that he wants someone else. If you choose to go this route, you're going into it knowing that we never wanted to be an item before. We just decided to have a child. So you are raising a lot of the bitter baby mamas. That also hurts. That this just plays more into me telling y'all this is great for men and this is terrible for women, because y'all giving men a reason not to marry. Now I also don't even have to worry about the bitter baby mama, because I'm going into this making a business agreement with a woman to just say all we're doing is making a baby, and we can write this down on paper. This is terrible for women, and I don't think that they fully understand it. I'm with it. I understand it.
That can kind of happen, and that really causes turmoil for the child, versus if there was never a romantic situation there and it was always just explained, this is what it's going to be. I actually think that would be a more peaceful co-parenting
I agree.
situation.
I don't know no woman that...
Have you not seen the women that are having children?
I agree. It's a fair point.
It does
Right.
exist. There are women
No,
that...
but
Right.
no, they are together. All of those women are together with
No,
him.
they're not.
Still?
They're all
No,
together
they're not.
with him.
They've made
They're
agreements.
all together.
No.
There's
Oh,
no
I didn't
way
understand that.
he's not
I didn't
living
know
with
that.
all those women at the same
They are
time.
together. What I'm saying is they are together.
They're couples.
They are couples.
No, they're
they
not.
are boyfriend.
She's wrong now.
girlfriend,
Polygamous.
Baby mamas.
She lost me here.
That's it. They take the pictures together.
didn't-
That's how you know.
I didn't know
They
that
just
or
took
understand
pictures.
that. I didn't know that.
What I believe is going on, and I haven't looked into this at all. I will look into it now because she said this, but I don't believe Nick Cannon is in relationship with all these women, because most of these babies are back to back. I believe most of these women said, you know what? I agree with it. Nick, I would be further more inclined to believe that Nick Cannon is the one who's saying, I want to have the photo shoots with all of my kids' moms, because all of them are doing it. I can't see a bunch of women saying, okay, we'll do this, but I also want to do the same thing the previous baby mom did. I don't think women's pride are too strong to say, okay, you had a photo shoot with her, but now I want to do a photo shoot this way. And then next woman say, okay, but now I want to do a photo shoot this way. Most women be like, I'm not doing no damn photo shoot if you keep doing photo shoots with all these women. No, we're going to do something else. And then we're going to do something different. And we're going to do something different. That's more along the line of the modern women. Now, let's just see if you have anything else to say.
It's
I
a
don't think they
new
do.
world, a new normal.
It is.
Y'all
There's a
fall
new
for
world
this
and a new
okey
normal.
doke with these men, okay? Don't fall for the okey doke,
Tell it.
ladies.
Tell
when
it,
you have
Ronnie.
a baby by a man, you make sure y'all in a relationship. Because later
Ideally,
on in life, I understand
The
if
choice.
you want to. You the choice.
I
Okay.
want women to have a choice. What if you really want to be a mother? And
That's
I
what I'm
understand
saying.
that.
Pro-choice is going to destroy your options for marriage. She's more concerned with women having the choice than she is with women getting married. And that is a bigger issue here. When you have these feminist mindsets where all we're worried about is how the women can move. All we're worried about is that women can have the options. We're also forgetting about the downside to that. The downside is when you give women this choice to go ahead and start creating babies without marriage, you're going to have men. Lonnie, they both are right. I'm not disagreeing with nobody here. I agree with them all. Everybody's right. I just know with each decision, there is a terrible outcome to what's to come. And this decision to procreate without marriage is a really greater, more terrible outcome than there is to getting married and trying to do it the old-fashioned way. This is terrible for women. And for any of the women remaining that want to get married, please, for the love of God, marry before you carry. This is not going to end well. And if you don't believe me, that's the point of the topic. Ask men. Stop going on to all female panels, or stop talking to the man who's in your friend zone who will agree to anything you say just to sleep with you. Stop listening to those men. Listen to the men that have no dog in the fight. I have no dog in the fight with the women who are watching this. I don't care how you feel. Men are benefiting from this. And that's just how it is.
And you don't have a boyfriend.
I get it, but your friend, I'm telling you, it's complications. Because
Of
then
course
you
there's
meet
gonna be
somebody later
complications,
on.
I
but-
think
All
it's
you have to do is
complication
wait.
if you were romantic and
The
you're
Lord
And then
no
you're no
longer
longer romantic. Or if somebody
feels
becomes
complicated.
romantic,
with someone else and moves on
Yes.
and has a family with
Trust.
them, and your
Yes.
kid is the one that
we
it's
could talk about
complicated.
this all day.
Listen, at the end of the day, I completely agree with what they're saying. I'm on board for it as a man. That should scare you. That I'm for this. I agree with this. I believe it can work because we no longer have to marry. We no longer have to suffer divorces. This will help men. We can get the outcomes that we want without the downside. I'm all for it because I'm a man's advocate. We need more real women's advocates, and not just saying that I just want the women to have the choice. What we need as women's advocates need women to say, okay, you have that choice, but here's also the downside to that choice. Here you also have this choice, but here's the downside to that choice. Now you make the best choice based on the downsides, not just the upsides. Because that's what's being left out. We got all these women saying, you know what, do this, do this, do this, but they're not telling you about the dark side of those choices, and some of those dark sides are really, really bad for women. As always, comment down below, like the video, subscribe to the channel, tell me where I went right, tell me where I went wrong, and just remember, over here, we argue facts, not emotions. I'm out.